Hey, TGIF, everybody. Are you in the great state of Michigan? Whatever your weekend plan, take Play Gun Lake with you. Right, at the beach, the boat, the lake, the mountain house, the backyard pool, the swim club. Wherever you are in the great state of Michigan this weekend, play your favorite casino games with live dealers on the Play Gun Lake online casino and sportsbook app. Make your downtime fun time, live bet sports while you watch the game on the Play Gun Lake app. You'll have fun, all the action, the excitement from the casino right there in your phone. It's safe, it's simple. Yes, it's easy to use. Play Gun Lake, the only app that I use in Michigan. Coming to Grand Rapids, I'll be using it. And a great offer for new users. Download the Play Gun Lake app right now. Get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down to the first 24 hours. The casino bonus has got to be wagered. PlayGunLake.com for details. You got to be 21 and in Michigan. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. Bet. Play Gun Lake. Time now for the headlines from the TGIF Friday edition of the newsletter. TC, this Milwaukee radio station story is one that I must discuss. It was brought up to me earlier this morning when I did a CNN hit with Casey Hunt. Folks will remember that post-debate, President Biden did 2 radio interviews with African-American hosts, and it came to light with a Victor Blackwell commentary and interview on CNN that the White House had scripted the interviews. They gave the questions to those radio hosts, and the radio hosts went along with it. Well, now there's a new twist in the story, and the twist in the story is that the White House requested and the Milwaukee station agreed to edit the tape. Please explain.
That is correct. So this is the Earl Ingram interview, Civic Media in Wisconsin. And I'm very confused by this. And I'd love your opinion on this, because as I listened to it and cut the tape and, I'm going to play it for you, I don't understand why they wanted these sentences. And I'm literally talking about like 2 sentences excised from the interview itself. So I have 3 clips I'm going to play for you. One is the way the actual interview starts. I wanted you to hear the sort of patter and also hear the first question, because I thought it was, well, I'll let you hear it
Go
yourself,
ahead.
and then you'll understand. Okay, so Alex, can you play that first one for me?
President Biden, it is an honor and a privilege to have you appear on the Civic Media Radio Network, and especially the Earl Ingram Show. I have a few questions that I'd like to ask you, sir.
Fire away, man.
Can you speak to some accomplishments that we may or may not be familiar with about your record?
Okay.
Especially here in Wisconsin.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Come
Whoa.
on, right?
Whoa.
Come
Okay.
on.
Wow.
This is
Fire
why I
away,
wanted to
man.
hear the first
Like,
one.
I'm ready. I'm ready for anything
I'm
you
ready.
got. Oh, please tell me what you've accomplished.
I honestly, that's exactly why I wanted you to hear that, because I was like, knowing now that was, because I would have thought, well, that's quite a softball question had I just heard it. But
Right.
knowing now that was one that the White House gave him, I was just, okay, fine. That's exactly why I wanted to play that for you, because I wanted you to hear that. Okay, so now there are 2 parts where that it was edited out. I'm going to play for you how it aired, and then I'm going to tell you what was taken out.
Okay.
So, Alex, if you'll play for me the site of the first edit.
Look, the fact is, I promised that when I got elected, I would have an administration that looked like America. Look like America. I served with the first black president in American history. I picked a black woman to be my vice president. I've appointed the first black woman to be a Supreme Court justice, who in fact is just as smart as hell, Ketanji Brown and Jackson. And in addition to that, we're working in a position that we have provided for. I've appointed more black judges, more black women judges than every other president in American history combined, because it's important. Representation is important. They have to have a voice, and that gives them a voice, gives the black community a voice.
Okay, so what he took out of there, what they wanted to take out, and the only thing I can think of is that they thought the president was being too repetitive, because what they took out was this. And in addition to that, I have more blacks in my administration than any other president, all other presidents combined, and in major positions, cabinet positions. So I think maybe the all other presidents.
And the White
combined
House
was
wanted that removed.
That's what they.
It makes no sense to me. I mean, if he'd made a gaffe. If he'd made a gaffe and they requested it, it'd be horrible if they requested it, because that's not those are not the rules of this trade, of this forum. But it makes no sense to me. I just don't understand, except for what you said, on the basis of repetition. Do you want to play the third one? I mean, I get it. Or is it more of the same?
It's more of the same. And I just, in my mind, I think a couple things. One, if they had the questions, then he was obviously sitting there reading responses, and maybe he just got a little, went a little rogue. But you have you have 30 years experience in this. We often say, people will ask if we tape things ahead of time, and I'll say we tape as live. So that means we're going to air the whole thing, no matter what happens. We don't go back and edit.
Okay, can I weigh in on this, please?
I could.
It goes without saying. It goes without saying that if you're interviewing a president, and I've had that privilege several times, even if it's a president, but if it's anybody else, if it's Tom, Dick, or Harry, you never take questions. Are questions sometimes suggested to you? Frankly, nobody suggests to me questions. They know better than to suggest questions. Right. And if someone requests an edit, you never give them an edit, even if they are a president. Here's my experience in this regard. Several times in the 2008 cycle, several times, dare I say more than any other radio host in the country, I interviewed Senator Barack Obama. And when Senator Barack Obama became President Barack Obama in August of 2009, remember, 2008 campaign, inauguration January of 2009, August of 2009, Robert Gibbs was the press secretary, just to sort of jog your memories. I was invited into the White House to conduct President Obama's first live radio interview. I've got, not only do we have the audio, but PJ, put up one of the images for the benefit of the people on YouTube. We are kneecap to kneecap in the White House diplomatic reception room, and there are two of the images. That's a great image, by the way, for the benefit of people watching on. I love that picture too. TC is 10 feet away from me in the front row. The media has come in to watch the interview. Click, 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 click.
We knew when he was coming down the hall because everyone started clicking their cameras.
Right.
That was amazing.
And I remember so many things about it. I remember not the least of which was, our partner for this from a production standpoint, our producer was a guy by the name of Dave Gorab. We love Dave Gorab. Listen to me. Dave Scalish.
He's here.
Hello, Dave Gorab. Dave Scalish. Dave is a wonderful guy. He would later return with me to the White House in 2012. I'll tell you that story in a minute. I remember that in this room, in the White House diplomatic reception room, a room with great history, there was no internet. And that really screwed us up. So anyway, I'm there. I conduct an interview. President Obama took live calls without knowing what they were. You want to talk about a contrast with what just went on with President Obama, President Biden. In the case of Obama with me, I was able to put callers on with him, and he had no idea what they were gonna raise.
It was a real radio.
It was a real radio show and a real radio.
As we run it.
And a real radio interview. So that was in 2009, and then I interviewed him again several times while he was president, usually remotely. PJ, put up one of those pictures. There he is. Okay, so now for YouTube, we're showing, this is a Pete Sousa official White House photograph of President Obama in the Oval Office, and he's speaking to me. Okay, I'm in my studio, and the White House would release this. This got released with an explanation of, here is the president speaking to Michael Smerconish today. Then, after more interviews, I think all told there were 12 of them, but in 2012, in the 11th hour of the campaign, I came back now to the Oval Office, and TC was not with me on this occasion, but Dave Scalish, the producer, was. And the funny thing is about this was a 30-minute Oval Office one-on-one, and you see what we call the boom mic in the lower right of the photograph if you're watching on YouTube. poor Dave Scalish had to hold the boom mic for 30 straight minutes, and I thought he was going to drop over. I'm doing the interview. I'm doing the interview with President Obama, and I'm thinking, my poor producer. I was once at a 9/11 service where an honor guardsman in horrible heat is standing there with an American flag, and he was standing still. He fainted. And I was worried that Dave was gonna faint on that day. But anyway, let me tell you what goes on. There was a guy at the time who was the liaison, at least to me, and his name is Dag Vega. I don't know what became of Dag. He was a very nice guy, and I remember Dag. For all of the Obama years, we had a very cordial working relationship. Would Dag call me before the interview and try and get a feel for what I was interested in? Yes. And that was that was part of the preamble of, but would Dag ever say to me, ask these questions? Hell no. I don't remember us ever taping anything with President Obama. I do with Senator Obama. That's a funny story for another day. But would the Obama people ever say to me, would you remove? Hell no, they would never. Because A, they just would know the impropriety of it, and B, they would know that I never would do it. Hey, Alex, do we have the way that the White House August 2009 interview begins? I'd be curious to hear it.
Yes, in fact, we do.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the program. I'm Michael Smerconish. What an honor for me to say I'm live at the White House, and I'm joined by the President of the United States. Mr. President, what an honor for me, and thank you, sir, for this privilege, and thank you for coming back to my radio program.
Michael, it's great to be on the show again. Every time we've been on, it's been a great time, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Folks are stacked up, as you might imagine. They're anxious to pose some questions about health care to the President of the United States. More than 5,000 email suggestions have flowed through my website in just the last 24 hours alone. If it's all right, I'll start by posing a couple of questions and some of the things that I continue to hear from folks, and we'll welcome phone callers as well. Allow me, sir, to begin with this. Did Secretary Sebelius misspeak last weekend? A great. Well, there you go. You get the feel for it.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. That's awesome. I love hearing that. And can I tell you, the hair on my arms is standing up. Like it's
Don't
such
say
a
that. Come on, someone's gonna clip
tingling
that.
my leg. No. It's not a reflection of Obama. But I'll say this: sure as hell, take him tomorrow. I have the utmost respect for President Barack Obama. No. I'm saying I'm excited. I'm proud of the moment. I'm proud of that interview. I'm proud. That was like high stakes for us, TC. It was a big. It was a very nerve-wracking.
Moving parts.
Yeah,
it was a lot of moving parts. Things are easier now. The technology is easier now, but
totally
we were routing calls through different places, and I just remember it being like, oh my gosh, is everything gonna technically work? And then we also didn't want anyone, we didn't want any snafus. We didn't want anyone to get through that was rude. It was really
the audience was great. The audience was respectful.
Fantastic.
They asked direct questions. And the clip that Alex played is a reminder to me, healthcare was then all the rage. Huge. Like that was the issue at Obamacare. What would become a big effing deal?
Correct. Correct.
And then I remember when I went back for the Oval Office interview in the 11th hour of the 2012 campaign, it was Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. And I was able to ask him some very direct questions about Benghazi and put to bed some of the rumors that existed about, there's this mindset among some of his very right-wing critics that he'd been in the Situation Room and had refused to provide support for what was going. Total BS. I gave him the opportunity to say it. So anyway, the point is, take it from me. Take it from me. It is so far afield to be suggested as a media person, here are the questions, or to be requested an edit, much less to accede to those wishes and ask the questions that they wanted. And by the way, didn't they know if both hosts were asking the scripted questions and they were the same questions, somebody's going to figure it out? It's just ridiculous.
My mind boggles. That's why I wanted to play you that first one. I could not believe that first question.
I
couldn't believe it.
That's a fun walk down memory lane, and I'd like to go back and recreate all those interviews and the pictures, and
I got them all.
Yeah.
I got all the audio.
All right. More now from the Friday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. Our lead story today is one of these, what happened at the presser last night with President Biden. We went with the key takeaways from the Associated Press. Here are my key takeaways. My key takeaways are that nothing changed. Purgatory is the word of the day. The president, politically speaking, is wounded. He cannot fully recover. Things that have been said by him and then commented on by others cannot be unseen. And I don't know how it resolves. Yesterday, 30,731 votes were cast. If President Biden doesn't run, should he endorse Vice President Harris or embrace a blitz primary? Let's call it 60-40. Said blitz primary is the way to go. Also, in similar fashion, poll question today. Love this one. Would George Clooney and other Democrats with firsthand knowledge of President Biden have eventually spoken up without the debate? Why did it take 2 weeks from the debate until the George Clooney essay? And how many others had this information and chose to remain silent? That's a big question. Today's Friday. Scott Stantis draws for us on Friday at Smerconish.com. His editorial cartoon it's a ball and chain motif. Take a look at that. You'll find it very much of interest. Okay, TC, what do we have time for? What would you like to highlight?
I mean, it's going to be fast, but this is what I have for you. I have a death, a study, a sentence, a new job, and a fraud. What would you like from that?
Your choice. Dealer's choice. Real quick.
All right. A death. Shelley Duvall, Robert Altman protege and tormented wife in The Shining, dies at 75. So that is from the Hollywood
Those
Reporter.
eyes.
You have that at Smerconish.com.
Those eyes. Exactly. That's all I can think of. Those eyes.
Died in her sleep of complications from diabetes at her home in Blanco, Texas.
Sad.
The next one is a study on cancer. And that maybe almost close to half of cancers are avoidable. And why are they avoidable? The study that you have that's posted from the ACS Journal talks about potentially modifiable risk factors. And what does that mean? That means cigarette smoking. That means excess body weight, alcohol consumption, radiation exposure, and physical inactivity. Those are the highest factors that contribute to potential cancers. And if you can get control of those, maybe we can try to, take away some of these avoidable cancers. That was the takeaway that I got from that study. You also have a piece from the Inquirer about John Doherty. Would you like to tell folks on a national level about Johnny Doc?
Yeah, he's been a political player for decades in Philadelphia. I know him well, and he is the former head of Local 98, which is the electricians union. For several years now, he has faced several indictments. I've lost track. I think there have been 3 different trials. It all came to a head yesterday with his sentencing. I thought it could have been a hell of a lot worse for Doc. He got 6 years. I also have to say that he's put up such an aggressive defense of each of these cases that I can't help but wonder if he'd folded the tent initially and gone away. Away, he'd be out by now. So it's not just the 6 years, it's the last 5 years of his legal defense. It's not just 6. 6 was below the standard. In that regard, he did well. That's my thought.
Do you think that would be shortened, or because it's federal time, he's going to serve
all 6? No,
No,
the feds mean it. Stay out of trouble on a federal level, TC, because two things. When the feds get you in their sight, they're coming back for more. And number 2, that sentence is for real, unlike the state courts.
Okay, that's exactly what I was thinking.
One more
to know. Bill Belichick is joining Inside the NFL. You have that from NFL.
Can I tell you why I have that? I have a theory on this, which is that Belichick has never been a guy known for his personality. And my theory is that the infamous Netflix roast of Tom Brady, where he exhibited some personality, got him this gig. I saw the headline which said Belichick, returning to NFL career, something like that. Wow, did he get a coaching job? No, he didn't get a coaching job. He's going to be doing, an NFL television program inside the NFL. But I believe it's all because of that Brady roast, which I still loved. I haven't gone back and watched it a second time, but it was hysterical. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple of things. Thank you for listening on POTUS. Love you for listening on POTUS. Thank you for watching on my YouTube channel. If you've never watched before, seek out my YouTube channel this weekend. Give TC some play on TC After Dark. Do you honk your horn? She'll explain. And I will see you on CNN tomorrow.